sharpest tongue in television. Let's hear it for Karl Urban! Karen Fukuhara. He is the heart and moral compass of the boys. He plays Mother's Milk. Let's welcome Laz Alonso. Fresh from Hawaii. Fresh from Hawaii? I love it. All right, he's the unpredictable wild card with the heart of gold. He plays Frenchie. Tell me Capone. Let's go. Last but not least, he was a member of the Seven. He is the fastest man around, but has one of the greatest story arcs on the show. Let's bring out Jessie, tease, Usher! All right, welcome to San Francisco, everybody.
Thank you, great to be here. Thank you very much.
First of all, happy belated Thanksgiving. Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, bro.
Spend it here in San Francisco, or were you guys with your families?
I visited family on the East Coast. Been a minute since I've been able to do that. Got a lot of the family together and just did like a good old fashioned, potluck style. Everybody pitch in and cook a bunch of stuff, sit down and eat all night. It was great.
Don't let him be modest. This guy is a professionally trained chef who cooks
That's what I told the lady.
amazing dinners.
Thank you.
I just had to throw that out there.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Laz, were you really in Hawaii?
No, actually, one of the very generous people that came today to take a photo op.
You got laid.
I got laid.
You got laid.
So,
This is a
I'm
boys
laid.
band.
Yeah.
Laz is married. Ladies.
I want to kick this off with you, Karl, because the tone of the boys has changed so radically from season to season. When you think back to season one, what's something that you didn't fully understand about Billy Butcher that now you kind of get a little bit more?
Well, wow, that's a great question. Well, I think, in season one, all of us were finding our feet to a certain extent. But I gotta say, I think one of my favorite parts of the show, looking back at it, was each character's introduction. And I think that all of these guys came in and absolutely nailed the characters. And if you have a look at their first scenes, it's like anything you need to know about their character is already imbued within what the performances they were giving. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, the character of Butcher has gone on, quite a substantial journey, and particularly his obsession with Homelander and how far he's willing to go to achieve his goal. And it's really that sort of old adage of, are you willing to turn yourself into a monster in order to defeat the monster? And obviously at the end of last season where we left Butcher he went, yeah, why not?
Hopefully we'll dive into that a little bit, as much as you can say. Karen, for you, there's this beautiful evolution in Kimiko's journey. Was there a moment across any season where you realized this show has kind of changed me as an artist?
Wow, such deep questions.
I know, this is going to be a little bit of a therapy session as we reflect
San
down.
Francisco,
San
Karen.
Francisco, you're right. The wildest city in the nation. I think from the get, it was a huge change and a challenge for me because I was playing a mute character and I had never done that before. And obviously we wanted to pay respect to that community and do it the right way. So I think there was a lot of growth that happened as an actor on that side of things. And then, Kimiko just evolved over the seasons. She was given the power of sign language, and then she, I would like to say that her action sequences are some of the best in the...
I think there's an actor on the show that does not envy your action sequences.
I got really lucky. They let me do a lot of things. So,
I get the front seat.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you're very athletic, so I was hoping that they would. I mean, you in season 5.
It's just amazing to watch Karen does what she does. It's really second to none. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Before we continue, I usually do this at the top of the show, but I'm going to do this now. I got to shout out our ASL interpreter, making sure that everybody can enjoy the trailer. Laz, your character, Mother's Milk, he's been the emotional pulse of the show. Is there a scene that still sits with you and one that you walked away from differently, either as a performer or, as a performer, walked away differently from that scene?
Yeah, I mean, I think the culmination of scenes with Mother's Milk have always left an impression on me. Season 3, I remember Tomera and I had some very, very powerful moments together. And that was the first time you saw Frenchie and MM, their true friendship shine. And then season 4, Jessie and I had some very bonding moments between A-Train and MM, which, it just showed that humanity can cross over, when you're trying to defeat evil. With Karl, it's been an ongoing struggle trying to find emotion when dealing with this beast. All jokes aside, some of Karl's scenes have been some of my favorite because it always felt like we were the grown-ups in the room, and trying to really find humanity in our moments because we were both fighting these shadows in our brains that at times took over. And there were moments when I had the humanity and there were moments where he had the humanity. And so it was always fun. And of course, with Karen's character, Kimiko, starting in season 1 really, where MM really didn't like her very much. He didn't really gel with her, he didn't get her. All the way to I can't even tell you what she does in season 5. But let's just say that it's a beautiful full circle moment for where we started, to where we get to. And so it's just so much growth that we've experienced with all the characters. And that's the one thing I can say playing MM is I've had emotional moments with everyone on the stage. And that's beautiful to share on camera.
Amazing, that's amazing. So there, Frenchie shifts between tenderness, chaos, love, heartbreak. What's something about the show or about the character that you learned about yourself through playing Frenchie?
Oh, making ass bombs. Listen, that's a craft, okay? So, if you want, I can extend on that. So, you take a beautiful ass. No. How do you say ass in sign language?
Wow, that's wild.
You have a nice...
No, but in all seriousness now, I think, Frenchie is such a fluid character. It's so fluidity and the comic book actually really helped me to start it off. Because when I opened the first volume of the comic book, which I had immense respect to, I didn't know it. And then when I started, I was like, oh shit, this is what the show is taking its, inspiration from. And I was scared because volume 1, the first introduction of Frenchie is him and Monsieur Charcutet at the bar, and it's a whole thing, and I'm like, I'm gonna play this guy. But then I got another volume and another volume and another volume, and in each one, Frenchie is so different, even illustrated different. And that was my opening to get in and find this guy a little bit from here, a little bit from there. So I love how you mentioned him about being a little bit of everything. But, bottom line, he's the trouble kid of the family. The boys, I think, part of what makes it work for all of you guys together with us is the fact that it's a family, right? You got the, dysfunctional father, and mother's milk, I don't need to extend, the two troubled teenagers, and obviously, the good boy, Yui. And Petit Yui, and that just gives us a lot of room to play,
Jessie, I really love A-Train's arc. From season 1 to where we are now, we're seeing a real big evolution and redemption within the character. Looking back at season 1, Jessie, what would you tell him about your character's journey and what this whole show has meant to you?
When you say him, what would I tell A-Train?
No, what would you tell Jessie?
Oh, wow. What would I tell Jessie about the art? Well, one, when I met A-Train, I've looked a lot at the source material, and it's very one-dimensional as far as the A-Train character. I feel like he shows up, he does the same thing, and he applies the same type and amount of pressure, and all the moments that he arrives. And then when you get to the series, it's very different. He starts off cold, a lot of layers and walls up. And little by little, slowly but surely, we sort of peeled each of those layers back and just exposed who he really is and how he really feels, what he actually cares about. And, I didn't see any of that coming. I thought that, I was gonna have a lot of fun just playing this like rude asshole, stuck up, arrogant, I just thought like, okay, yeah, I got this. I know exactly what we're gonna be doing here. And then we just stripped all of that away, like the comfort zone. So I would just go back and tell Jessie, just get really comfortable with being uncomfortable, because A-Train is gonna take you to a lot of uncomfortable places. And, from within that, you're gonna find something that you definitely didn't expect to be experiencing playing this character, and just soak it all up, because I got a chance to expose myself to these guys here, I'm sharing the stage with, and had some really incredible moments that I just never anticipated having. And I was very thankful for that growth, for the writers and Eric Kripke to sort of continue to take this guy deeper and deeper and deeper, and just sort of make him multidimensional.
Now, before the show aired, how did this project come across each one of you? And were you familiar with what The Boys was at the time, or did you dive into your research after you guys booked the roles?
I'll start. I did not know what The Boys was when I started this show. I didn't even know that they had source material until after I booked the role. I was shooting something else at the time, and it just came across the desk like any other audition. And I didn't feel like I had enough time to prepare, so I said no. Actually, I didn't want to, take myself out of what I was doing. And after a couple days, I was convinced to do a thing, and I felt not the happiest about it. So I did this read that I wasn't happy with, and I had a nasty little attitude about it, and that actually turned into the A-Train that you know. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding, yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like pissing off every one of these lines because I was like really wanting to get back to the thing. And then Eric Kripke calls me, he said, you got this attitude when you're talking about Robin as if you're like disgusted that she was even, in your world. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what we were going for. And he's like, I love that. So we built on that, you know what I mean? And then after the fact, I booked the role, and I knew that we were going to be getting going. So I said, well, send me everything. Let me see what we're doing. And I was like, holy shit, this is what we're doing. Y'all should have told me before we agreed to this thing. I thought I was going to be blacklisted, but here we are.
Karl, for you, this show's been on, or it's gonna be on for 5 seasons. And in that duration of time, I'm sure that all of you guys bond, because that chemistry feels too real to me sometimes. But can you talk about the found family that you guys have found amongst your cast members?
Yeah, I think that's what makes this whole experience unique for me. You've obviously been working in this industry for many years, but I've never really sort of experienced a level of connection with a group of people that I'm working with like I have experienced on the show. And obviously part of that is by virtue of the fact that we get, 5 seasons together, but it's also a part of the genius of the casting of Eric Kripke. It's like we all genuinely really get along with each other. We're very respectful with each other. In many ways, it felt like 2 shows for the longest time until they slowly started sort of morphing into, one as characters from the soup side would interact more with the boys. So we kind of, the boys, we felt like this kind of renegade, arty band. We always had like the shittiest cars, and they were shooting in the dingiest alleyways, and these guys were all, as far as we could see anyway, living it up on the set of Vought in the studio. We bonded quick. We we had an art project where we all decorated our set chairs, and we had with them from season 1 through to season 5. Like everybody did a deck chair in the flavor of their character. And so when we weren't shooting, I think it was one of my favorite parts of the show. When we weren't shooting, we were all hanging out with each other on the side of whatever set, like playing backgammon and listening to music, just laughing and joking and hanging out. And that to me still remains my most favorite part of this whole experience was these guys.
That's incredible. That is incredible. Karen, for you, your art moved away from silence to owning your own voice. Was there a turning point in Kimiko that surprised you?
Oh my goodness, I mean, all of it, right? I think the biggest surprise came when I read the script for the musical episode, and I knew that Kripke had been wanting to put a musical number in from the season before the one we did, but I never would have thought it would go to the one silent character. And I just think that's such a genius idea because it's the most unexpected idea, you know?
Sure.
And then I got to taking singing lessons and dancing lessons with him, and yeah, I think that season is probably my favorite because I got to really sink my teeth into the rehearsals of it all, and then it all really paid off in the end. I think it bonded us too.
And you helped me pull termite out my ass.
I did do that.
Which is point in your career. Come on.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
That's my new special power.
No, it's
I love that. Laz, for you, what's the...
Sorry.
No, you're good. What's the
Yes, you're
biggest...
married.
Can't do that anymore with the maid.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the biggest real-world lesson you've taken away after playing this character for 5 seasons? Somebody that's so morally driven.
You know, the one thing about our show is that good people sometimes are going to do bad things. You know, and bad people still have the ability to do good things. So, you know, never completely write somebody off. They might surprise you and show up hopefully as their best self. And unfortunately, sometimes somebody might not. They might do the opposite. You know, we're humans. And I think Mother's Milk, one thing that he always tried to remind the audience as well as, you know, his fellow teammates is, you know, to err is human. Sometimes we're going to show up good, sometimes not so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So here, for anybody that's never seen The Boys before, what's one scene that you would pick for them to watch that really defines the show's identity?
the whale, I think. It's got a
You asked the
whale.
perfect person.
Right.
Love sausage.
Love sausage!
You asked for it, buddy.
Also, yeah.
No, but how funny would it be?
Resembling that a little bit. I was thinking.
Just comfortable with things wrapped around his neck.
You guys imagine?
Let's see what I gotta deal
Made
with.
him feel at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now you
Made
see.
him feel at home.
Can you imagine me
No, it-
pitching
See,
the
and it's
dance
stuff that
sequence?
he's changed. He's got
You
this
know,
light,
like-
he can't take it off. He loves the feeling.
Go, Carl. Go, Carl.
Guys, this is a taste of what happens on set every single minute right now.
I also think the genius of Kripke, I mean, you look at the first episode of A-Train running through Robin. I mean, that you know, sets up the tone of the show right there, unlike any other superhero show you've ever seen.
You said it best right there. It sets up the whole tone of what you're going to expect from the show. Absolutely. Jessie, for you, the show went from satire to cultural commentary in a lot of ways. When did you realize that the show was bigger than the genre itself, the superhero genre?
Ooh. Oh man. I think it's season 2. It was honestly, it was the reaction that we got that sort of sent that message. We were filming the second season when the first season came out, so we were sort of in our own bubble. You know, we get in work mode. Everybody's spending less time on social media. We're spending less time watching the news. We're showing up, waking up, just with the intention of doing the job. And things around us sort of started to change because the show was coming out. So people were acknowledging that. and coming up to us and acknowledging the work that we had done, and it was coming out. And I think we were just, or at least for me, I was like, to be in that moment and to have that happen sort of was like a big eye-opening moment for me. The voice of the show just sort of changed from season to season, and it just sort of became a little more important, a little more serious, a little more intentional. But it's just, it was the accumulation of all these things. Like it just started to open our eyes a little bit more with every moment. So, from I think season 1, I had no idea what was going on. I was trying to figure it out. But by the time we got into our second season and we started hearing the feedback, just hearing what people had to say about the show was really the moment that sort of went, oh wow, this is something different.
Right, popped off in a different kind of
way.
Yeah. We are going to take fan questions, so we do have 2 microphones. You guys can line up. I'm going to try to get through as many of them as I possibly can.
But you got to freestyle for 10 seconds first, so we're not going to answer nothing.
But before we get into that, I do have a question for you guys. Season 5 is wrapped, and Eric Kripke has said the final season is coming reasonably soon. Without spoiling anything, what are the personal stakes for each of your characters this season?
Without spoiling?
Without spoiling.
That's a straight spoil. What do you mean?
At an all-time high? I don't know. How did you say it?
Mon cœur, mon cœur, mon cœur.
Well, look, I can maybe, let's try to figure it out this way then. Because I think, we'll start with Butcher, because he's at his breaking point, both emotionally and morally. Can you talk about the conversations you had to keep the character grounded? And is he doubling down, or is he running out of moves this season?
Listen, I don't think Butcher's, would you say, morally at a breaking point. I mean, he crossed the threshold at the end of season 4. He gave himself over to whatever that thing is, that darkness inside of him. And so, what you can look forward to in season 5 is just Butcher in full-on beast mode, going for his target. And I really don't want to say too much. I just want you guys to enjoy it. But the stakes are as high as they could possibly be, and it's nobody is safe. There's going to be twists and turns along the way, and you're in for a hell of a ride.
It's interesting. I almost don't want to know about season 5 now, because I think that's the beauty of The Boys, is that I want to be shocked by watching those episodes myself. Let's start over here, sir. What's your name?
What's up, man? My name is Darius. I'm from Oakland, California. You know what I mean? Okay.
Darius definitely got a 10-second freestyle for us.
Yeah, no, I got no. All right, cool. And I know both of y'all from BET movies, straight up. Let me say that, Lance and Jessie, right? So, I started reading a comic book, The Boys, and like a year before the show started. So I kind of got that everybody was like somebody else. Like Mr. Urban, you're basically Punisher. You're the Frenchman is basically Leon from The Professional, and then you're basically X-23. You're basically Sonic, and then you're Red Shoes. You're Sonic. Laz Alonso. To me, you were Shaft, right? Movie that you were in. That's the one that I know, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like they kind of nerfed your character. Do you think that they'll, they show anything, maybe something with your mom or your brother or anything with your backstory?
I had similar concerns season 1.
Okay.
Because in the comic, MM had powers. And when I showed up on set, day 1, nobody told me that MM didn't have powers. I still thought he had powers. And so did Tomer. So when we played the first scene that Tomer and I worked together, when we're in the van, and he and I see each other for the first time and we're about to fight, we shot that first, our first day working together. And so he and I, before we got in the van, we discussed, okay, because MM has this superpower, let's try to play that in that moment. So I pushed Tomer, and Tomer goes flying into the back of the van, slams, and comes down he did his best, Jean-Claude Van Damme. It looked amazing. And then all of a sudden the director yells, cut! what is that? What are y'all doing? We're like, well, MM has powers and he just pushed a human across the vent. They're like, no, he doesn't. So we stopped.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, ain't no
What I
way.
did
Like, what do
is
you
I
mean
went
he
to
doesn't?
our, you remember what I did? I went and I asked for, after I realized we don't have powers, I asked for a knife.
Yeah.
Rock knife.
Yeah. He was like, well, can I get a knife or something? Like, so anyway, man, in the very beginning, before I had uncovered that MM's power on the show is his heart, it took me a while to get there because I was on a superhero show surrounded by people that had some other type of power that I thought I also had, and I realized on set that I didn't. So it changed how I played. It changed my physicality, it changed everything. And then I realized, you know what? No. I gotta walk, I gotta move, I gotta talk, I gotta perform like I do have a power. Like wherever I step, I can shut shit down the same way Homelander could. And that's how I moved. And that's how I performed, and that's how I acted it. And even though my power wasn't technically from the V, it was from the heart. And that's why in season 3, whenever I ran into Soldier Boy, I wanted to beat his ass.
Yeah.
With or without powers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for sharing that story. That was amazing. Thank you. Hello, how are you?
Okay, this thing on, cool. So, Carl, I've been wanting to know this forever. How the hell are you able to see anything out of the helmet in Dread?
Yeah, the truth was you couldn't really see much. It was not a very practical uniform or wardrobe, but hey, looked good,
Oh, yeah.
right? Yeah.
Doesn't look like you could have seen shit out of that.
No, you can't see shit. And that bike, it's a bike, it's crap as well.
That was my
You guys
next.
got a terrible turning radius.
That was what I was curious about, because you did ride that bike yourself, right?
I did.
So how did they safely shoot that when you can't see a goddamn thing?
I didn't think about that.
Good answer. Good answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Hello, my name is Joshua, and my question is, what was your favorite moment on working on The Boys, for all of you?
For all of you.
Favorite moment?
There's a lot. There's so many. I think a defining bonding moment for me was the whale sequence, because it's kind of like joining a frat or something. Like, you got to be like miserable together. And that day, I get really seasick. I had all the patches on. I took all my Dramamine and everything, and I still, it's in like 14, 15, 16-hour day, and especially with him driving the boat, it was.
He didn't have any helmet on, so
It was full throttle, but I think Laz tells the story of Jack on that boat well, so I want him
Listen,
to
I can't even get to the story about Jack because you were supposed to be the sweet, innocent one of the crew.
I am.
This guy plays practical jokes nonstop. This guy's a close second. I love practical jokes too. I'm not gonna act innocent here. She's supposed to be the one that is safe, the safe one. No! She was snapping pictures while you were eating items. Yes.
Yes.
And, like, you can't trust this one.
Oh, yeah.
She's dangerous.
They came around on set and they have these chocolate colored bananas, and she snapped this photo of Laz fully diving into this chocolate banana. I tell you, we had fun with that one.
Zooming in.
It's like you're hungry, you're just getting a snack, and she's snapping pictures of you eating the chocolate banana.
Karen, are you selling those at your
I was
booth?
so angry.
Just in the group text.
I was so hurt.
Which was also Carl.
I was so hurt. I was so hurt.
It was funny.
It made a great t-shirt, come on.
That was great. Thank you. Thank you so much for that question. Hello, how you doing?
Hi, my name is Odin. My question is about, well, it's for both, all of you. For those who have read the comic, what changes to the show do you appreciate, whether it be in story or your character, that you like more in the show versus in the comic, the ending in the comic versus anything that happened in the show, etc.?
I mean, I like that they made A-Train black. I thought that was pretty cool. It really worked out in my favor. I think it would have worked out the other way. You know what I mean? That was like a pretty straightforward, direct change that I thought. I'm very thankful for that one. But also like the longevity of the character too. You know, I felt like A-Train didn't last very long in the comics. You know, so the fact that they've, well, I mean, he had a couple heart attacks in the show. The fact that they even, you know, kept him going, I thought was pretty incredible too. But you know, there's a lot of connective tissue in the show that's not in the comics. You know, I get to interact with a lot of these different characters that I don't ever get a chance to meet in the comics. So for me personally, I appreciate that the most.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey, Dave from Walnut Creek here.
Hey, Dave.
Question kind of just for all of you guys. I know in the last couple seasons, it seems like the producers have just kind of jumped into things with progressively more and more shocking items in the very first episode. So can we kind of expect a build-up this year, or are we jumping straight into exploding genitalia again?
I think we throw you in the deep end, but in a good way, because the stakes are as high as they can possibly be. So I think the real thing to look out for in season 5 is, like, you know, on an emotional level, as far as the characters go and your attachment to characters, there's going to be some big hits early on in the very first episode, and that's probably what is going to make you realize, oh, this shit's for real. This is, you know, the stakes couldn't be higher, and anybody's fair game.
That's it. Now wait for this season. Hello. How are you?
Good, how are you? My name's Robbie. I was curious, as actors, how has it been taking characters that were like from a source material directly from like a comic and being able to sort of evolve them into your own as the stories like diverged from that? Having like, you know, the character evolve and being able to sort of help define that.
I mean, we had a lot of help, you know, with Eric Kripke in the writer's room, and those guys just have a pretty good grasp on the characters before we even touch them. So we were able to ask a lot of questions and get good answers. You know, I think I was leaning on Eric a lot in the first couple of seasons, you know, asking a ton of questions of why would A-Train do this? Why would he say that? Where is his parents? Where is his family? You know what I mean? Like, how did he get here? Because we meet him and he seems like, yeah, he has his brother, but that's pretty much it. You know, he seems to be pretty alone in this world of madness, and he doesn't seem to have any friends or family or anything like that outside of the one character that we met. So it was just nice to be able to speak to someone who had taken the character out of the source material and then gave him all of this backstory that I could then pull from, you know, whenever we needed something to pull from. And then the rest of it just sort of comes organically. You know, you have a conversation with Mother's Milk, or you have a moment with Kimiko, and then you learn something about yourself, you know, in those moments, and you just build on that as you go.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to follow up on that for a second, because I know Eric's work from Supernatural, and obviously he's an incredible showrunner. But I want to ask, how much of the character did you know about ahead of time, and the trajectory of where the character was going to go in the 5 seasons? Like, did you know the starting point and the ending point, or did you guys kind of figure that out as we get to season 5?
Listen, every time A-Train had a heart attack, I thought I was done. I was saying goodbye to everybody, you know what I mean? I'm picking out rap gifts, like, well, it's been great working with you guys, you know? I'm gone in season 3. It's like, all right, well, it's been nice again. I'm gone in season 4, you know what I mean? So it's just like, we never really know. You know, we get the scripts as we go. So we're literally shooting, you know, 101, we've got 102, 103, but we don't know what's gonna happen in 104, 105, 106. So, like, you know, like I said, I'm turning the page, I see a heart attack, I'm like, this is it. He's not gonna survive too, you know, whatever. But it just happens, and it actually makes it kind of fun. You know, it's kind of exciting because you don't really know. And then that also gave us something to bond over as well. We get to the end of the script and everyone's hitting the group chat like, did you see, did you hear? And I didn't read it yet. I'm like, wait a minute, don't say nothing yet. I don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just, it was a learning experience. We sort of picked it up as we went along.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, down for the ride.
Awesome. How are you?
Good. I appreciate y'all for being here today. My name is Maya. I'm from San Jose. Thank you. So originally, I'm a Supernatural fan at heart, but the boys thank you. Like the boys elevated that. I'm like, I love Kripke's mind and how crazy and off the walls he is. But this is more like a behind the scenes question. So I know Jensen's on season 5. So did you guys play more backgammon? Did you teach Jared or Misha? Did he beat y'all's asses again? Like, what's the tea? You know, I just want to know, like, how is that fun to, like, reconnect and everything with new people?
It's a difficult question to answer without giving away certain.
That's a sneak. That's a sneak.
Sort of things. 'Cause if we tell you how we hung out with them all on set, then you're gonna go, you know, they got scenes together and stuff. But listen, we can say obviously, you know, Jensen was great to have him back. And it was fun to sort of get the opportunity to have the Supernatural guys sort of roll through and do their thing. And there's a few I think great cameos that I don't even think have been announced yet. So yeah, but it was fun. You know, we're all very grateful, and I think Kripke he's a wonderful collaborator to work with, and if he likes working with you, then he will go out of his way to find an opportunity to work with you again. And I guess, you know, we all sort of feel like we're part of that big family. So yeah.
Thank you.
So for Eric Kripke's next project, you can expect maybe, possibly some of you guys returning, if whatever that may be.
Whatever that may be, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea what he's going to do next, or how you top this, or where. It'd be interesting to see. Yeah.
Fascinating to see you. Hello.
Hello, I'm Nick. I'm from Sacramento. So if they're being spin-offs in the Boys universe now, if you could do any spin-off, what would it be personally? Like any show you'd want to do.
Oh, any show.
Well, there's the A-Train show, there's the Mother's Milk show, there's the Frenchie show.
Pitching it, it's going through the works.
Just a musical one.
I think a musical would be pretty cool if you guys did, if they expanded on that world.
I know, that
would be really cool.
That Train could be in the musical.
Train could come in there, yeah, a little tap dance maybe. You know what I mean? Fastest tap dancer in the world.
Double time.
Tommy's always like, we do 5 seasons in a movie.
Hey, I can get behind a Boys movie. That would be epic.
Boys movie would be awesome.
That would be great. Thank you so much for the question. Hello.
Hello. My name is Ken. I'm from Oakland. And thank you. And I wanted to just say thank you all for coming to this convention. First chance I got to see all of you together. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
And for Mr. Urban, this is the first time I've seen you in 11 years live, and I've enjoyed your work all this time since then. The question I have for you is when you're working on a role where you're not in your normal, natural accent. For example, like in Star Trek when you did the voice of McCoy, a Southern gentleman. Is that something you developed yourself, or did you work with a dialogue coach?
You mean specifically for the McCoy character, or all the characters?
For all characters you work with.
It's all different, yes. For McCoy, I worked with a US dialect coach, and we had a look at what the late great DeForest had done, and you sort of worked out what a younger version of that character sort of would sound like. So it was important to me that there'd be some semblance of recognizability, and so it was really sort of identifying not only the voice but body language and certain mannerisms that I could cherry pick without, you know, trying to do a caricature or an interpretation. For Butcher, it was a little bit trickier in the regard that, because our first season I turned up and I had a Canadian dialect coach. It was the perfect storm, because you have a British character written by American writers played by a Kiwi actor, coached by a Canadian dialect coach. So come season 2, I'm like, well, yeah, we're making some changes. So I brought in lovely Andrew Jack, who I'd worked with on Lord of the Rings. And together, yeah, he was so phenomenal, beautiful man. He was so phenomenal, and we really kind of got very specific. And he was wonderful about contributing certain colloquialisms that were authentic to the point of where we had sort of identified Butcher was from. And you know, and those colloquialisms made it into the show. Like Andrew would tell me, oh, you should say this, and then I would email Kripke, and it's like, and we'd put it in the show. And so sort of from that point onwards, the you know, we really got dialed in on that front. But sadly, Andrew passed away in 2020 with the first wave of COVID. And I was gutted, not only because I lost a very, very, very dear friend and collaborator I've known for many years, going back to Lord of the Rings, but also for Butcher, because I mean, I had to sort of, you know, start again. And but I was again grateful to find someone who named Liam, who was also UK based, who I worked with on the subsequent seasons. But it's like anything, like a dialect is like any element of that a character has to. You have to know how to drive, you know, a car, or shoot a gun, or, you know, dance or sing. You know, those are elements that you have to dedicate time and energy into getting it right, and that's part of the job. And yeah, I'm very blessed to have worked with those guys.
Thank you for your question. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're almost out of time, so I'm going to try to get rapid fire these. So let's go.
Oh damn. Hi, my name's Matt. Karl, I'm a fan from Xena Hercules. Didn't realize you played so many roles until I watched it recently. Do they only have one guy down there who can act? Just kidding. Okay, sorry. My question is, there's a series called PG Porn, and that's where they cut out all the dirty bits, and you just see the story.
Say what? PG Porn?
PG Porn.
Okay.
Yeah. And everybody, the boys, it's pretty, you know, extreme. Do you think, even if it's only like 15 minutes for 5 seasons, that a PG porn version of The Boys would be worth watching and something that could happen?
Why would you watch the PG version? Where you go full blown, man. Just watch the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shiwan. I'm from Hong Kong. My question is, if you guys have like a choice to choose like a superhero ability, whether it's in the show or not, what would you choose? Because I know Buttermilk doesn't have superhero abilities, and how would you change like your character arc or maybe your story throughout the season?
I wouldn't. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't. Like at this point, I accepted what it was, and I've always really loved this character, including his limitations. You know, so I'm happy with where he is. Yeah.
I wouldn't change A-Train's power. Yeah, I wouldn't change his power. I feel like it shaped him, you know, and like you say, you really do grow to love your character's strong suits. You really do grow to love their weaknesses, you know, just sort of seeing them come full circle 5 seasons in now. It's like, nah, this is beautifully told. I'm just going to stick that out.
Thank you so much for your question.
Great show, by the way.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I am so sorry. We are out of time. I apologize. But are you guys going to be here for the rest of the show? Or are you guys taking off?
Sticking around for a bit. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You can meet them at their booth. Come and say hi. Ask your questions there. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank you.